Hi guys! I'm so excited to chat with you today. I'm sitting outside on my back deck because it gets so cold in my house, and so that's where I'm like wearing long sleeves. It's a beautiful day. It's like 70 degrees here. But just letting you know, I swear every time I do a video, somebody starts yard work. So if you hear a lawnmower, it's because I'm sitting out here. But oddly enough, like this was always one of my visions was, if you don't know, I used to be a teacher. I'm going to share my story in just a minute, but we would, teachers were like confined to our one classroom, and we're there the majority of the day. And so I always had this vision like, gosh, it would be so nice just to like sit outside and work on my back deck and enjoy the days when they're beautiful, and like that's what I get to do now. So I can't wait to share my story with you. So here's what I want. I just want you to imagine like we're sitting out here on my back deck, just chit-chatting, you and I, and just like talking and just sharing what it is that I get to do. And really, I want you to kind of see how you can do this too. And I know from talking to you already, when I invited you, most of you came right back with, I'll check it out, but I'm really busy. And you had some objections right up front, okay? So what I'm asking you right now is, I want you to set aside all of those objections that you've given me, whether it's time or you've got the kids and you're running around like a crazy person, you have a full-time job. Set that aside right now, okay? I want you to come in with an open mind, and what I want to show you is how this can add to your life, okay? I know you're busy. I know you're crazy. I know you are running around like a crazy person, doing all the things between being a mom and a wife and employee wherever you work, but that's everybody, right? Everybody does that. So I'm really looking for the people who want more out of life. And you say, you know what? I don't want to just be the person running around like a crazy person all day and like stressing out and getting to the end of the day and I'm just like waiting until bedtime. No, like I want joy and I want something that fills me up. And so set aside those excuses. I really want you to come in with an open mind, okay? I'm going to challenge you today to just kind of dream a little bigger, all right? So just dream a little bigger with me. And it's funny because I was talking with one of the women in my group. She's already in a boot camp with me, and I asked her, like we were talking about her goals, and I said, where do you want to be by the end of this year? It took her a couple days to get back to me, and she said, I'm sorry it took so long to get back to you, but nobody's ever asked me that before. And she's like, I really had to think because I really don't know. And I said, that's okay. Nobody had asked me before what I wanted and what my goals or dreams were before either. And it wasn't until I started this that I did start to have goals for myself and a vision of where I wanted to go. And so you might be in that place too. You're like, what is she talking about? Like, I'm just like in the thick of it. I don't have dreams. Like a year from now, I'm going to be in the same place. Okay? Maybe not. All right. So just listen with an open mind and an open heart. And if it speaks to you, then I want to chat more about it. But if I'm looking over here, it's because I've got my notes. All right. I am organized. Like I said, I am a former teacher. And so that is just me. Okay. So I wanted to start with like, what is a coach, right? What's a coach? What's a partner? What do I do? All right. So essentially, I partner with a company called Body, which means that in my groups, in the groups that you might see me talk about where I help women reach their health and fitness goals, I get to use Body's workouts and nutrition programs for the women to help them get results, right? So I have used them myself and I've had success with them. And so I know how to help someone else do that as well, okay? What I love about it, and my goal when I started this was a teacher, I am not a personal trainer, okay? Coaches are not personal trainers, and I did not want to be, nor do I want to be, okay? Because like I said, when I started, and much like you probably have a job. I don't have time to sit down and create programs and plans for women. That's not my desire. I want to help them. I want to help them reach their goals, but it is so nice to have all of that done for them and for me, right? I can say, hey, here's the plan. This works so well. Look at, my pictures or the women in my group. Look at these success stories. This is working, but I don't have to create it, right? And so my priority when I started this was family time. And so I didn't want something else that's going to take me away from my family. I don't want to have to meet clients at a gym or, make time in my schedule. This works with my schedule. And so some of you, your big objection is, I just don't have the time. But you do, because this doesn't take away from your family time. This is, you make your own schedule and you fit it in when you can, okay? And I'll share a little bit about how I did that too. So for me, it was the best of both worlds to say, hey, I get to help people and I get to do what I love, but it's really like in a simplified way. Everything's all there created for me and I just share it, right? So here's my backstory with how I even got started with body in the first place. So, this was years and years ago. I don't know if you've ever heard of a program called P90X, but I had heard of it on infomercials and that it worked, right? Like everybody just knew it worked. You don't even know what it is. You just know it's really hard and that it works. So a friend of mine had the entire DVD set. And so I asked her if I could borrow it so I could burn a copy. And that is what I did. This is back in those days. I burned a copy of her DVD set and got the program for free. And I started doing it, and I probably made it about halfway through. I think it's a 12-week program. I think I did 6 weeks. I just couldn't keep up. It was like hour-long workouts. Some of them were an hour and a half. It was, I think, 6 days a week, and at the time, that was way beyond my commitment capacity. And so I'm proud of myself for making it 6 weeks, but I will tell you, in those 6 weeks, I had the best arms. Like, it was working, okay? So that's all I knew about body until, fast forward a few years, and I was pregnant with my daughter. I actually just stumbled upon, on Instagram, just kind of looking for fitness, motivation, inspiration. I stumbled upon the page of my coach, right? And she was showing all these workouts she was doing from home in her garage, and she had like a 6-pack abs, and I'm like, what? Like, well, first of all, I said, who is this chick, like, showing off her abs in her garage? Okay, this was really before the time of fitness influencers. And so at first I like snubbed my nose at her. Okay, so if you're coming from that place too and you're like, I would never do that, I would never do home workouts, I was that girl. Okay, I was rolling my eyes and I said no way. And I loved going to the gym, and I was a gym girl, and I said, I'm not doing that. So I watched because she was inspiring and she motivated me and she was showing up every day. And that part appealed to me, but I had no intentions of joining her. So we sort of became Instagram friends and just chit-chatted a little bit, probably like some of you and I here. And after she actually got pregnant around the same time as me, and so after we had our daughters, she just happened to say, like, hey, you should do a group with me. Like, come do a challenge. We'll work out post-baby and do this. And I was like, okay, no. I told her, I'm a gym girl, okay? I don't want to do home workouts. But her invite just kind of stuck in my head because I was thinking, all right, I do have a newborn. I don't want to bring her to the gym childcare. I enjoy going to the gym, but it just wasn't working with my schedule anymore. And so I also, by the way, have a son. So I had a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. And I was on maternity leave from teaching. And so it just got in my mind, and I said, you know what? I probably need this. Like, this is really outside of my comfort zone because I had no intentions of joining her. But it would be really nice to, like, have a set plan to do at home because all I had were literally like old DVDs. Yes, those P90X DVDs I was telling you about. I had those still, and then I had some other random stuff, maybe even like Jillian Michaels or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I need something fresh and new. And so I decided just to give it a shot. And so when I decided to give it a shot, then I just, everything changed. Like, it was so simple. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what to eat and I know what workout to do, and I'm doing it all on my baby naps. And so I just really went all in and just committed for 3 weeks. I said, all right, I'm going to do this for 3 weeks and I'm going back to the gym. That was my plan. And so at the end of the 3 weeks, though, I was feeling like a different person. I felt like a different mom. I had energy. I was like not the grumpy mom when I woke up. Every time she would nap, I would like do my quick workout and get a quick shower. And I was like, oh, like just having that time for myself, it was everything. And so I was hooked. And so my coach reached out and she's like, you know what, like, you're already doing this. You have great results from your first program. You should consider, doing what I do as a coach. And so again, way outside my comfort zone. No, like, I've done one program. I'm not coach material here. And also, remember, I was the eye roller. I was like, I'm too good for this. I go to the gym and no way am I doing what you're doing. But like I told you, we had become Instagram friends. And so I saw over the years what she was doing with her business and the fun she was having. And you may have seen, I shared a lot of pictures in here in the group today of just different conferences and trips and things that we get to do. And I knew that she had a lot of fun doing her job. And I was at the point where, like I told you at the beginning of this call, I was at a point where I was getting ready to go back to work from maternity leave. And I knew, like, I was just on the hamster wheel. 3-year-old, 3-month-old, teaching, working, coming home, gotta cook dinner. I was on the hamster wheel. And I was just at this point where I'm like, what's my thing? What's for me? I just kept thinking, like, all right, I know I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, but like, where's Diana? I just kind of felt like I lost myself somewhere along the way. What is Diana like? What does she enjoy? Who is she? And so I really just started thinking about it, and I was like, I have nothing to lose by giving this a shot. I think it looks fun. I want to actually keep going on my journey now and stay accountable. I was so worried that I was just going to like let it all go and I wasn't going to stick with it anymore, and I needed that like extra accountability. And I was like, oh, you know what? If I'm coaching and if I'm helping other women, I'm going to have to stick with it, because they're going to be counting on me to show up, and I'm going to be leading them, and the leader has to show up. And so those were all my thoughts. And so I talked about it with my husband, and, we just kind of, first thing he said is, are you crazy? Like, when are you going to do this? When do you have time to have like a side business whenever you're working full time? You have a baby. So he thought I was nuts. And if you don't know me, I'm kind of stubborn too. And so whenever he said that, I was like, I can do this. I know I can do this. And I said, look, every night when the kids are in bed, I just literally turn on the TV and I mindlessly watch like 2 hours of TV. I have time. Like, I'm just sitting on the couch at the end of the day. So that was my mission. And I'm like, it just felt like something purposeful and like something I could do versus just vegging out every night. And I realized I do have the time. And so it became my mission. I was like, I can do this. I am going to do this. And so I want you to know that when I made that decision to start where I wasn't in a place where, we didn't really, I wouldn't say we needed the money. My husband works full time. I was working full time. We both have 2 great incomes. It's not like we needed the money, right? I really just wanted accountability, and I thought that it would be fun. And that's when I started. But then when I started in my first month as a coach, I helped a few people, helped a few of my friends get started on their journey too. So it not only became more fun for me because I was like, oh, now I have people with me. Like, this is so fun. These are people I actually know, versus before, I was in her accountability group, but I didn't really know those people. They were just like virtual accountability partners. But these were my actual real life friends. And so I'm like, oh, this is so fun now. So in that first month, I made about $300. And like I said, we didn't need the money at the time, but that $300, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I am going to get my nails done. And, I would just, how we are as moms. Like, I just didn't do that a lot anymore, especially with 2 kids. And both of my kids were in daycare. And so, gosh, daycare was like almost $300 for 2 kids a week. And so now it's like, it's way even more. So I can't even imagine. But, so I just didn't treat myself to that kind of stuff anymore. And like, the frivolous Target runs. And so I just remember that $300 first month, I was like, I'm going to get my nails done. And I ended up like paying for my own products, because I also like just fell in love with using a pre-workout and a protein. I liked to use supplements to like help with my results, which I did even before I started this also. I used to use those type of supplements when I would go to the gym. And so I'm like, this is really cool. I'm like, I'm paying for my own supplements, and my husband uses protein too, and I'm showing him like, look babe, I'm helping people, and now I'm covering like our protein, and I can go get my nails done. And then there was like a little money left over, and I'm like, this is so cool. So it motivated me to keep going, right? And so I was building my business every night after my kids were in bed. Like, that is the only time I had, from gosh, 5 a.m. when the alarm would go off until 8 p.m. at night. It was go, go, go. It was the whole cycle. You wake up, you get the babies ready, you take the babies to daycare. I go to teach all day, and then I come home, and then spending time with my kids because they were my priority, and then getting dinner and baths. And it's like still mentally exhausting just thinking about that lifestyle. But then they would get in bed, and I would just breathe this sigh of relief. Like, how it is, moms. It's like the calm at the end of your day. You're like, my babies are in bed. Everything is good. Like, life is good. And then I would have this thing for me, this purposeful like thing. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Like now, after they're in bed, I get to pour into this little passion that I love. Like I love helping women, and I love getting to watch them shine, and I'm teaching them how to eat, and I'm helping them. We're in it together. I'm still very much on my journey. Keep in mind, I just started and I just had a baby. So I had a long way that I needed to go. But it was motivating me and encouraging me, and it was just bringing back this light, like I said, from someone who just felt like she was on a hamster wheel all the time to now I had something that was like just lighting me up and giving me purpose, And so as I kept going with my business and it kept growing, I really started to then think about what I really wanted to do with the income. And so my first goal was I wanted to earn at least $3,000 to $5,000 in my first year as a coach, because as a teacher, if I were to go back to grad school and get another degree, that would have been about the same pay raise that I would have got. I would have gotten an annual raise of around $3,000 to $5,000 for another master's degree. But I had no desire to go back to grad school. I did not want to take out student loans. I didn't want to take time away from my family. I just had a baby. I wanted to be home with them. So to me, that wasn't appealing. But I said, oh, I can use this. And if I just make $3,000 to $5,000 this year, like, that's my raise. Like, I don't even have to go back to grad school. So that was exciting me. And I was like, all right, I can do this. So that was my first big goal. And then I just kept thinking, what else can I do? What else can I do? And every little thing, I would always attach my paycheck to some sort of goal. And I'll never forget the first week where I was able to cover all of the kids' daycare by 1 week's paycheck. So we get paid weekly as coaches. And the first week that I was able to cover all of daycare, I texted my husband oh my gosh, did you see my paycheck? Which normally he was the one that would check first, and he would always text me oh babe, you made this much this week. He was my cheerleader the whole time and still is. But the first week that I actually covered daycare, it was this is really cool. Now this is helping us in a really big way. It's not that we need it, but it's that now this is just opening up more opportunities, right? And just giving us more flexibility. And so I just went on to set other goals. I wanted to treat my family to a Disney trip. And I'm it would be really cool if I can say I did that. And so that was my next goal. So I remember we booked the trip and I had just enough for the down payment, but every single check that I got, I would, I had a girl that planned it for me, and I would just text her all right, I'm making another payment, and I just chipped away at it. And so that first Disney trip that we took as a family, I always look back and I'm I did that. That's really cool. I did that with a side hustle, a little side hustle income. And so if you don't know my story now I'm out of the classroom. I actually, about 2.5 years into my business, my husband and I talked, and I really, really wanted to be home with my daughter. She's my last baby, and she's still little. And I said, gosh, I wish I would have had this opportunity when my son was little. I just didn't know about coaching. I had no side income. So I was Mama's got to work. So anyway, I was while she's still little, this is my priority. I really want to be home with her. And so we talked about it, and, felt that my income was consistently growing. And he said, all right, I think it's time we can make this transition to where, all right, now you'll have also more time to put into your business and to build it. And so this was actually in 2020, before pandemic. Didn't know the pandemic was coming, but that I, made the decision, and knowing this would be my last year of teaching, and to transition out. And so, gosh, even just looking at that, what a blessing, right? To know before the world halted, but to say I don't have to go back to this crazy environment. And so that was just a huge stress relief off of our family, to say, okay, if anybody gets sick, it's fine. I'm home now. They can stay home. I can stay home. We don't have to stress about time off and stress about, sick visits. And gosh, during COVID times, it was, if you're sick, you stay home for 2 weeks. It's not just a day, it's 2 weeks. So, we don't have to stress about that kind of stuff anymore. And so that's what I want you to see, is that this one decision may seem insignificant to you right now. And you may say I just don't have time. But what could this one decision change, little trickle effect, over the next 2.5 years to 5 years in your life? You just don't realize, and I didn't realize at the time, how saying yes to this was going to open up so many other doors down the road. I really had no idea. I just kept going. I just kept having fun with it. And I just gave it every day what I could, because like I said, I was building in a really busy season. I was working full time with 2 small kids, and that is really, it's a busy time, but I was just giving what I could every single day. And so, I just want you to think about that and say, what if this one little thing could set other things in motion that I haven't even thought of yet, So here's what I'm looking for, okay? I am looking for women to join me on this mission. I'm on a mission to help other moms, help other women to get the joy back. I talk with so many people, and I ask them, like I said, about their goals and what they want, and it's just, everybody just seems so bogged down with life and stressed about the day-to-day, and I get it because I've been there. So I'm on a mission to just help them to stop just rushing around and living like out of this stressful state into living purposefully, and that starts with her taking care of herself. And so that's what I do. I get to help women to create routines for themselves and to, learn how to eat better. And it's like the best thing ever whenever they're working out and they're doing it with their like babies by their side. And I'm like, that's the good stuff, right? Like now this is having a positive impact on their families and on everyone around them. So you saying yes, then you are going to have a ripple effect into the people around you, right? So I didn't realize that either. When I said yes to coaching, then I started impacting people in different circles of my life, maybe from a school I taught at, or one of my playdate group moms, or someone from church or whatever. And you start having this ripple effect around you, and just you getting better, you're helping other people get better, and that's helping their families. That's the mission that I'm on. And so I'm looking for, women with energy and who are like, okay, I can do this. You're just like me, where I say I'm busy, but I can do this. I'm looking for go-getters and women who take initiative, people who are excited to help people. And I know that you probably have, doubts and fears, and I did too, but I'm also looking for someone who says, okay, I have a little fear, have some doubts, but I'm going to break out of my comfort zone. I've been in my comfort zone for so long. Like, I'm ready to do something new. I'm ready to do what's next and see what else I can do and what my next thing is, what my purpose is, So anyway, I hope this has been helpful to hear a little bit of my story and how I started. And if this is speaking to you, then just reach out. I want to talk to you and know more about your goals and what you kind of visualize for yourself. And so I want to know your thoughts. And if I've like kind of, brought up anything, you're like, ooh, I could do that, or that would be really helpful, or I would have a lot of fun doing that, then, I was in your shoes before. I know how to lead you because I've done this now for over 5 years, and I know that this one choice in my life just affected so many things, and I know it would in yours too. So I can't wait to chat with you. I can't wait to hear from you. My plan is to actually come back in here tomorrow, do a little bit more of a Q&A. So if you'll go back to that post, it's a few posts back, I actually said, what questions do you have? So if you have some more like logistical type questions, whatever's on your mind, drop it there. I'm going to pop back in here tomorrow and just do a little Q&A and kind of wrap us up here. But go check out all the pictures and posts and stuff, and I can't wait to chat more. Bye, guys.